Welcome back to the Supplies channel. I'm Elliott Adair, and today I'm going to make a ring I know a lot of you are going to love. It's called the Stargazer Ring. It's based on our most popular ring that we've ever done, the Stardust. And we've done a variation of this before. We did the Starlight, which was similar to the Stardust, but it had a white ceramic ring blank. The next one we're going to do today, the Stargazer, has a black ceramic ring blank. So we're going to go a little darker this time around. And we're going to do the same process that we've done on these other two rings. So stick around. I'm going to show you my tips and tricks of how to make the Stargazer ring. If you are watching this video because you subscribe to our subscription box, I want to also acknowledge that I know the video is going to be late and I'd like to apologize. I had some personal and family stuff come up, and by the time this gets edited and uploaded, I know it's going to be quite late. So again, I'm sorry about that. On that same note, I also want to thank everyone for the support I've received as I've taken over these videos. I know I've also gotten some negative feedback as well, either about my ring making methods or like my filming style, and most of those complaints are valid. So I'll continue to get better and strive to take your comments and suggestions into consideration. And if you guys can just help me out and continue to leave your suggestions in the comments, we really appreciate that. All right, let's get into what we got in this month's box. Okay, let's crack this thing open. We first of all have our black ceramic ring blank, just a standard one, 8mm. We have our diamond dust, amethyst, blue fire opal. This is one of my favorite opal colors, and our purple glow powder. So I told you this is going to be very similar to the Stardust ring. In the Stardust, we have the diamond dust powder, we have the cobalt chrome ring blank, we have a different blue opal, and what we do is we mix all the ingredients together and then we just layer it into the ring. So we're going to do the same thing here. We swapped out obviously several of the different ingredients that are in the Stardust, and we're going to make the Stargazer its own variation. The only ingredient that it shares is actually the diamond dust. So we'll get into how we do that process. The freebie we are sending this month is the step 5 diamond paste, and you might think that's kind of weird that we're doing the step 5. We did send you the step 1 a while back, so this gives you a good like variation. If you've been a subscriber for about 6 months, we sent the step 1, and this will allow you to both start off and finish off the polish to a maximum level. This is also special because we're going to be actually discontinuing this step 5 diamond paste polish at least. So this is going to be hard to get in the future, but all of our subscribers will have it. First thing we got to do, of course, is crush up our materials. I have our amethyst and the blue fire. I'm going to do plenty of this to give the ring its color. That's where all the color comes from in the Stardust ring. We don't have any pigments in that, so it all comes from the inlay materials that are crushed up. The Stardust has darker materials too. It has the meteorite dust. So we're going to rely on both the amethyst and the blue fire to give this ring all of its color, because the glow powder and the diamond dust are very white colored and not going to give it much. Okay, you can see I went really fine with this opal. It's going to, again, be a lot of the color that's in the ring. So I'll probably now continue, and I've got all this to a very fine dust. I'll do some larger pieces now to mix into it and give the ring some variety. Okay, I have some good variety here. A lot of dust like I wanted, but I still have some small pieces that aren't, you know, at that dust level, which is about the biggest I want on this design of the ring. It is going to end up looking, you know, pretty blue in the daytime, other than mixing in my amethyst. It's hard to get amethyst to look really purple once you crush it to a fine size. So that's going to be a difficulty we run into. And if you decide you want to go for a more purple look, you can definitely add some purple pigment. I'm going to try to stick to the true star dust style ring design, where we're not going to use any color pigment, and we're just going to roll with these and the diamond dust and glow powder. All right, now we can mix all this into a vial. I'm just going to do a little bit of diamond dust so it can get a little bit of sparkle, and we're going to do plenty of glow so that it glows nice and bright purple. And then we're going to add these in for the accents and the color. And I'm also using a larger quantity of diamond dust. By the way, we sent you 1 carat. This is a 5 carat container that I'm just working out of, so it won't have this much in it. I'll use slightly less than a carat anyways to get the effect I'm looking for. I'll go with all this amethyst. And let's do all the opal as well. So it's mostly like a little bit of diamond dust down in the tip down there, and then mostly opal. And then we're gonna fill All right, I'm not gonna do a crazy amount, just keep it small like that to start off. And if I need more, I'll just have to crush more materials, but that's about the ratio I'm going for. Then I can go ahead and shake this up, give it a good mix, and we can see where we're at as far as the coloration goes. There it is, and that gives us a somewhat good idea of what the ring color is going to look like. I'll try to go heavy on the colored parts of it. Let's get started on the inlay. All right, looking good. Let's get rolling with the inlay. I'm going to layer it up just using a super thin so that it gets nice and saturated all the way through. And it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to pour a little bit out. When I'm tapping it like this, it will separate the larger or heavier or lighter materials, and also the larger and smaller materials, it seems. So if I want more of these larger chunks, I can get that featured if I want it. And then if I want more of the dust, I can also feature that in certain pockets. So I want to save some of this good larger material for later on. So I'm going to try to stick with more dust up front. If I tap it like that, I can get the larger chunks to fall backwards and keep the dust in the front. And the more dust up front is going to be better for getting a good, like, deep glow. But I can save the coloring of the larger chunks for myself later when I'm closer to the surface. After spinning it for a minute, I'm going to give it a light little spritz of accelerator. One on each side. I'm going to keep spinning it for another 10 seconds or so just to make sure, and then I'm going to let it sit for 5-10 minutes, let it get nice and hardened up, and then I can come back and do another layer. All right, let's come back and do another layer. I'm going to try to tap all my colored stuff to come out a little easier now. I want that to be the focus on these upper layers. I don't want it to only be the larger pieces though, so I gotta find that good mixture. Okay, add a little bit of accelerator. And we're gonna let this sit again for another 5-10 minutes. Okay, I'm running a little bit low on my inlay mixture. So I'm gonna have to be careful where I lay these last little bits, but I'm just mostly gonna focus on filling in some of these holes at the end. And if I totally run out, I'm close enough that I can just put a little bit of glow on top, and it's going to get the overall effect that I wanted, because most of this is going to be sanded off in the end anyways. Okay, this is solidified. The next step is going to be taking off some of these larger chunks with a Dremel, and then I'm going to get into sandpaper strips using the actual lathe. All right, now the fun part, let's fire up the lathe and start with some sandpaper. All right, that's about as far as I want to go with this rougher grit sandpaper. This is an 80 grit. I'm getting close to being flush with the bevels here, or the edges of the inlay channel. So I'm going to now move up to a 240 grit and keep going. Down really close. I'm gonna take all of this all the way to being flush here, and then I'm gonna switch to a higher grit. I'm almost there the rest of the way around the ring. It's looking good. I've got like one last spot, but I'm gonna go ahead and step up to the next level because it's really close. The next grit I have is 320. I'm gonna work my way up to 1,000 grit before I polish. Perfect. Before I go any further, I'm going to quickly fill in some little divots. I don't have a ton of like deep cracks or anything, so it's just going to be some minor repairs, and I have a tiny bit of my mixture left over. Hopefully that'll last me as I get it all the way through. I'm going to first dry it off, and then I'm just going to grab my super thin glue. Only have a tiny bit left, and I added in some glow powder, but I don't want it to be overpowering in the spots where I do the glow powder, so I have to be careful. And this is going to have the same process as earlier. I'm going to give it a little bit of accelerator, and then I have to go through a lot of the sandpaper steps again, but it's going to be a lot faster this time. And then I'm going to go finish on a higher grit before I polish. Okay, I've sanded this to the point I want. Now it's ready to just be polished. I'm going to start off with our rough Astrotech ring polish, of course. That's going to do the most work out of any of our polishes, and I'm going to work my way up and even incorporate a couple of our diamond paste polishes, because on the ceramic you can get that looking super shiny at the end and get away any like marks you might have made with sandpaper while you were in the process of making your ring. I'm just going to apply this to a piece of paper towel. Speed can be pretty low. You'll just apply some pressure. And even after that first run with that rough polish, it looks a lot different. It's looking really good. I got a little bit of glue out here that I need to get off, and I'll perfect this probably with the razor blade when I'm very done. But now I'm gonna work up and do my medium and then mirror finish polishes, and I'll come back around and do the diamond paste polish as well. Awesome. Okay, let's do the diamond paste. I'm just gonna do the step 1 and then the step 5, since that's what we've sent our subscribers recently. And of course you can go through the 5 steps. We don't necessarily need to do it on this ring yet, unless you see some major scratching on your ring blank from the process. Then you can just go ahead and go through the 5 steps to get that really good finish. Just a little bit on a paper towel again. Just like with our rough polish, the step 1 does the most because it has the bigger grits. The step 5 gets you to like those tiniest of tiny grits. So I'm gonna use a fresh paper towel. And it's definitely a little overkill on this ring, but at least I can show this as an example. And since we sent this in this kit, it's appropriate, I think, to use it. And it's just gonna have a crazy shiny finish at the end. And try to get the bevels at the same time. All right, get this wiped up. All the polish off of there. Let's get it off the lathe and take a look. That is a sweet finish. I need to clean out the inside of this a little bit, but I like the look a lot. Let's go out in the sunlight and see how it looks there. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I like that. We're, trying to get that deep galaxy, star effect. And I think we achieved that here. It was a little more difficult because, with these previous 2 rings, the darker materials definitely help. But I like the contrast of using the darker ring blank and having a little bit lighter in the inlay here. You definitely still get some of that spacey depth that we're going for. And it's its own unique ring at the same time. So it's got a different tone of opal. The star dust has a lot of the green. The star light has a darker blue and some pink. And then this one has like the light blue, a lot of pinky orange, and obviously the lighter look overall. Let's go see how it glows, because obviously this thing has a lot of purple glow powder in it. Okay. Yeah, this is nice and surprisingly bright. It's hard to get a good bright glow out of purple glow powder. It's one of the weakest glow powders. Here's the other 2, the Stardust and the Stargazer. Or sorry, this is the Stardust.
Starlight, and we just finished the Stargazer. Aqua's the brightest, or green, and I just had all these out in the sun for the same amount of time, and it's crazy how much brighter that purple is right now. It's hard to capture this on video because if it gets too dark, you can't see anything. But they were all in the sunlight for the same amount of time, and that's crazy. The purple is glowing the brightest. Now that's because the meteorite dust in these takes away a lot of the glow. So that is the trade-off. This one's going to look lighter, but it glows a lot brighter. These two are awesome in their own right, but I think we have a clear winner when it comes to like a purple glowing ring. The Stargazer came out looking amazing.
Thanks for watching, especially if you've made it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. I love how the ring turned out. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a great addition to this series that we kind of have started here. If you want to see more of these, also let me know and give us your ideas for the next variation that we could do. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.